everybody, to the greatest TV show podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Anthony.
And we are up here for episode 11. Yes, we are. We haven't been sued yet. Woo!
All right. How's everything, Mike?
Y'all gonna learn today. Everything's good.
Good.
It's been a minute since you and I have done this with our retirement in place of living in Jersey.
Yes. Well, we have used the second time this intro, so I think we're going to be consistently using it.
Yeah, we had a lot of positive feedback with this intro from episode 6, if we all remember from episode 6 of the podcast, not the series, but the podcast series.
Right, exactly.
So we decided to just use that one.
Yeah, we had to retool it.
Retool me, I'll retool you.
That's a movie quote. Sorry, not TV quote. And why don't you go ahead and email us at gtvspodcast@gmail.com. See if you can guess what movie that quote is from.
And our first fan's email reception will be given a prize.
Yes, that's right. We are looking for the first fan email. Please and thank you. We mentioned at the end of the last episode that donations can be emailed. Don't send us money.
Via email.
Just kidding around. Don't send us any money, because then that's a whole bunch of IRS paperwork that we don't want to deal with.
And then we actually might be sued.
Yeah, then we will definitely be sued. We'll have to start a nonprofit or something and maybe donate the money. Well, wait a second now. Maybe we could do something good with that money.
A non-profit profit. Anyway, so episode 11.
Wait a second.
Okay, we're still going on the...
My
how
goodness,
you been?
let's talk about the boy.
Oh, boy.
Rein it in, away from the show.
Cut it out.
Cut it out. Uncle Joey?
Dave Coulee.
Well, let's just say this isn't a full house. Oh, we're not that show. And we're definitely not Fuller House, which only lasted a couple seasons.
That lasted like about 5 minutes.
Yeah, really.
Kelly Gibbler? What the fuck is her name?
I don't even know.
Kimmy Gibbler.
But honestly, like, if you have an idea for a TV show, go to Netflix, because they'll try it for at least one season. And then they'll probably cancel you. But if it turns out to be a good idea, they'll go with it, you know?
And you might find our podcast on Netflix. You never know.
Yeah, you never know. All right.
So, how have you been, Sir Anthony?
Well, as I mentioned the past episode or two, or whenever it was, just taking it easy. No acting gigs right now. Enjoying my life in New Jersey. Oh, boy.
You almost said New Hampshire.
No,
I know.
New Hampshire wasn't even on my mind.
Oh.
Maybe
Georgia was
on
Georgia was on his mind.
Georgia was on my mind. That's right, Georgia. I dated someone named Georgia. Mm-hmm.
Was she a peach?
She was a peach.
Was she a Rockford peach?
Peach. I could eat
Cobbler.
peach for hours.
Oh,
that's what she said.
So,
okay.
Are your shocks better now?
No, my shocks. No, struts.
Struts.
Get it right.
Sorry, struts.
Yes.
Your truck doesn't have shocks.
Have
has
been
struts.
replaced, and I am not feeling the New Jersey potholes anymore.
See, in my life, once my vehicle needs an oil change, it's time for a new vehicle.
Oh, boy. You mean you change vehicles more than you change your undies?
Repetition.
How's the boy?
He's glorious. He's saying dada.
He is getting big.
Yeah, his first words were dada.
Yeah.
And Mama is not...
There's
Quincy's not happy about that, but she's jealous.
There's a little controversy around that, because it's been argued by some that it was just a noise.
No. He said dada.
Not to take anything away
He looked at me in the eye
dada.
and said dada. And then he went dad. And I think I heard it say, my dad is glorious.
I also saw papers on the table there. He solved the theory of relativity also, right? Basically?
Yes, he solved the Rubik's Cube as well. Smarty pants.
Schmarty pants.
But no, he's awesome. He's
good.
adorable.
He is.
He's rolling around like crazy, no crawling. Just
No crawling. Yeah.
he just sits there and rolls. And then when he's on his belly, he complains.
Oh,
But he's the one who put himself there. So
sounds a lot like me. Oh.
Moo.
All right, Alan Vinny.
Now here we go. Episode 11.
Let's transform into our characters.
Transform, Mr. K. Form to Mumra, the ever living. That's not that show.
Okay, rein it in.
All right, episode 11. Be Your Own Self Motivator.
Oh, yes. So we all remember the writers came up with this great idea that Al and Vinny thought they could start their own Tony Robbins type thing.
Motivational seminars, speaking seminars.
Right, exactly.
Right.
They had a couple of connections in the industry already.
They did. You remember from episode 1.
Right.
Episode 2, episode 1
Right, exactly.
of the seminar.
So we remember Greg.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one
A
gentleman
little full of himself.
who was full of himself, but also introduced us to the motivational seminars. And we now introduce a new character, which his name has been changed to protect the podcast from the legalities of using the real character's name.
Correct.
And yes, so really quickly, we are Mike and Anthony doing the Greatest TV Show podcast, and we are reminiscing about being Al and Vinny. Yeah, he's starting the clock.
It's too late either. He started.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I was trying to beat the 9.87 seconds.
Yeah,
but,
that's. I don't think I could beat that. So we don't have the rights to the TV show. We can't even use the name of the TV show, so we're calling it the Greatest TV Show podcast, and we are gonna reminisce about being Al and Vinny. Yes, you want to say something?
No, I'm just prepared to say something if I need to.
Okay. So we are talking about the show, all the episodes, for the fans.
Always for the fans.
Always for the fans. That's right.
See, I needed to say that.
Yes. Okay, so back to the episode. Well, the couple of episodes that this happened, it was a
this took place.
storyline.
This basically took the whole course of the whole series, really.
Yes,
about it.
exactly right.
So it's like he said, Sir Anthony said, Al and Vinny decided to create their own, I don't know, not company, but
No, not really a company. But
they wanted to be life coaches, but in large groups in small apartments.
mentors.
That's the ticket.
And they needed mentees. So the new character is Gary.
Gary.
And he is already a successful motivational speaker,
Yes.
as you remember
Very
from the
successful.
show.
Yes.
Mhm, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so
He made at least $10 a year doing this.
So his concept was to invite people to your apartment,
Right.
if you remember from the show.
My apartment. Our apartment.
Well, like his concept was,
the concept, yeah,
whomever
yeah.
he introduced to the
I apologize, sir.
to the concept, it was to invite several people to your apartment, and he would come and speak.
The smaller the better.
The smaller, the better.
Because it makes
Apartment,
it, the smaller, yes, it's just the tip.
Well, this was all part of the show, of
Right.
course.
The smaller the apartment, the more people, it gave it a bigger atmosphere than it
the
really
more
was.
intimate it was.
Well, no, it just made it seem like, wow, this is really blowing up. Look, you can barely fit the people in here.
Right.
It's like a 10
That's
by
right.
10 room.
Yes, exactly. So you remember the little living room, and you remember the episode. And so this is the first. The Al and Vinny went all out to get as many people as they could to get in front of Gary. Because Gary was the man with
Gary
the
was
master plan.
Gary was coming.
And so,
But not his pets.
so
Then,
we have Gary visiting, and we have all the people coming to the little apartment, the little house in Lowdown, New
prairie.
Jersey. No, Lowdown, New Jersey. Oh, I see. You were trying to say that we're not that
we're not that show
we're
either.
not that show either. Okay, very good. Very good.
Hey,
Very
hey.
creative. So we remember Tanya.
We need to make a drinking game for our fans. Every time we say the word remember or reminisce, you got to drink.
Oh boy! And don't go anywhere after.
Right, because you're going to be wasted.
Yes, if
In
you're
about
driving
5
while you're
minutes.
listening to this podcast, don't play this game. If you're taking care of your children, don't play this game.
Well, if you're driving and listening and you're playing the game, make sure it's water.
Yeah, and then you got to.
But then you got to find a bathroom.
Whatever, play it anyway.
Yeah, whatever you want to do, just be safe.
We claim no responsibility for anything
Drink
that happens
responsibly.
to you.
Like the commercial, drink responsibly.
Yes, okay.
All right.
Rein it in, please. All right. So we remember Tanya, our famous neighbor who lived on the first floor.
Famous Amos.
In our two-family
Famous
house.
Tanya.
You remember her famous quote?
Tell your friend!
Tell your friend!
Oh
Yes.
my God! Tell your friend!
So, of course, what happens? The first couple of guests show up, and they knock on the wrong door.
They knock on Tanya's door.
So she opens the door. Again,
Can I help you? What are you doing? I don't know who you are. What are you doing in my house? Oh, you want to? Oh, no, upstairs. You have to go upstairs. I don't know why my voice is turning into different accents. I went Asian there.
the actress who played Tanya definitely did a better accent.
Went
than
from
that.
Polish to Asian in 0.3 seconds.
Okay, so we have the first few guests. They ring the wrong doorbell, and she answers, and she's a little off-put by us inviting guests, period, because she doesn't like that idea of us having people over. Because you remember from way back in the early on in the series, she had an issue with the way we walked around.
Right. Right.
So now we're inviting other people to walk around upstairs.
With shoes on.
Yeah, with shoes on, right? So then a few more people come over. They ring the right doorbell, thankfully. But she opened the door, remember?
So she opens the door and she watches as people are walking upstairs. She's watching from like the back of them as they're walking, and then 3 more people are coming in the door, pass her, and walk. And now she's like looking like a tennis match. She looks left, she looks right, and there's people just coming, and she's just like, you could just watch her whole mind just explode.
Her mindset, right?
Man.
Her mindset is going bonkers
Yeah,
right now.
her brain explodes. Oh my God! Oh, and her eyes are just, she's looking forward, but her eyes are going left and right, and she's just in her mind going, oh my God!
And then the camera slowly pans over into her apartment, and the great cinematography here. They just zoom in on a broom, which will mean something later on in the
Yes.
episode. For those of you who have seen the episode, you know
Correct.
what it means. And then she says to one person, tell your friend, you better be quiet up there. I have to go to sleep soon. I can't listen to you people walking around. Tell your friend.
So
And that's what she says to a total stranger.
yes. So everybody's inside now. We have what, at least 15 people.
Yeah, 15 including us.
in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
With, you remember the scene, the layout of the kitchen. We had that table against the wall because it was too small to have it out, so you can actually fit chairs all the way around it.
Right.
So we really only had 3 chairs or 4 chairs at the table.
Yeah, nobody was sitting in them anyway.
Nobody was sitting anyway, but because the kitchen was so small, it was barely enough room for a table, let alone 15 people.
Right, right. And so you have Gary, then he shows up.
And then you have Vinny trying to offer beverages,
Yes.
and he can't get to the fridge without mocking somebody else.
We're trying to be quiet also because when Gary gets there, he's got to set up his board and easel
Right.
because he has stuff to write down, you know. And
No, we set that up already.
oh, did we set that
Yeah,
up?
we
Oh,
set
okay.
that up. He just has to show up, take his jacket off, and talk.
Oh, yes, that's right. Unbutton the top collar,
Right.
pull the tie down a little,
Like as if he's been working all day.
get comfortable. All these little things that they put on the show was just hilarious. It was, and this was all, you know, you look at the script and it was all written out. There was really very little ad-libbing in this scene here. And Greg was there also, you know, trying to peek his head around the corner because he always wanted to be involved. You know, when Gary was around, he was a little jealous of that. You know,
Well,
he
I
wanted
mean,
to be in the spotlight.
Greg is driving around in a 1987 conversion van, and Gary's driving around in a brand new Lexus.
Lexus, that's right. Yeah. Funny.
So, yes, one is more successful than the other. So then as the 15 of us in the kitchen are getting beverages and hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres, that's what I call them.
The camera then cutscenes to Tanya downstairs,
Right.
literally turning
Yes.
turning guests away.
2 guests come up right to the door, if we remember correctly, and they knock. And of course, we have so many people upstairs, we don't hear it. So she opens the door and she says, "Meeting is canceled. They canceled it. They sorry they didn't tell you, but go away." And they leave.
They leave because they don't know.
And at this point, she's had enough.
She's done. She's done.
So what does she do?
She darts to the broomstick.
There's the broom right there.
And she starts pounding on the ceiling.
On her own ceiling.
On her own ceiling. Kind of above where the kitchen was.
Yeah, right.
And we stop and we hear thump, thump. And you can hear like a muddle.
Too many people.
But the camera pans to her and she's saying, "Oh my God, you're so loud, you're stopping. Oh my God, tell your friend to stop stopping. I can't sleep, I can't think."
Too many people in the apartment.
So we stopped moving. We went silent for about 5 to 10 seconds. She stopped. And we started up again.
And then we started up again. And then after they show us starting up again, then they show why she stopped, because lo and behold, there's another knock on the door, and it's Gary. And oh, sweet, sweet Tanya. What does she do? The guest of honor. She goes ahead and tells him the meeting is canceled.
And he's like, "Oh, really? I don't think so." I'm pretty sure the meeting's not canceled. And even if it is, I'm still going upstairs.
But as polite as Gary was, the
Right.
actor and the awesome writing on the show, he then tries to contact her and invites her.
Why don't you come on
Hey,
upstairs?
come upstairs. You might learn a thing or two.
Could you use some more money?
And of course, she says, "Absolutely not. Tell your friends to be quiet."
Just be quiet upstairs. So then Gary comes up and everyone's huddled in the kitchen right by the door.
Yeah.
And, he shakes everyone's hand one by one, gets to know them one by one. It takes about at least a half an hour.
Yeah.
Then we mosey everyone from the kitchen into the living room, and then you hear thump, 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 thump.
She starts again with the broom.
So now everyone gets settled into the living room, and Gary takes his jacket off, his suit jacket off, undoes his tie, like Vinny said earlier, and gets comfortably. He slips into something more comfortable.
Well, he makes what he's wearing a little more
Right.
Yeah. Relaxes the room. It's a whole thing that he did throughout the series and all the motivational small seminars, we'll call them.
Right.
I did air quotes there because you can't see me, so I'll just tell you that I did the air quotes.
Right. I'm sorry that I'm not the norm. I'm not camera friendly.
Sorry, we don't have the rights to the show.
And he can't do the disclaimer in 10 seconds. Or less, and it's your money back.
Oh, the one thing I remember about this episode, which was great, is the writers had a lot of the guests compliment Al on his suit.
Right.
And this is where
you look sharp as a tack, and I'd be like,
Sharp. Very
thank
sharp.
you.
Al did have the best looking suits. And of course, that cued the cutscene to Al shopping at Goodwill.
Picking up
explain. You guys.
He's shopping at Goodwill. He's looking at the racks of coats, of suit jackets. He looks at one, doesn't look at it, slides it to the left, looks at the next one, slides the hanger. Oh, he picks one up. This is great. If he tries it on, it fits. He puts it back, looks at the price tag. It's $7.
Oh, man.
And then he goes to the ties. Oh, and there's a sale, 25 cents.
Oh, yes. Very nice.
So,
and then we come back to but they use that joke several times and throughout the series because It was just so funny.
$7
For a suit.
for a suit.
Yeah.
So then after the meeting, Gary finishes and, shakes everyone's hand. Everyone, everyone says goodbye. Now everyone's in the stairwell, leaving one by one, talking, and it's echoing in the in this little stairwell. It's not a concrete stairwell; it's just a sheetrock.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just echoing, and you just know it's just driving her crazy.
Of course, the stairs creaked because it's an old house, and some people would stop mid stairwell and just
talk.
Yeah, and just this and that about my this and my.
And meanwhile, Al and Vinny are at the top of the stairs going, shh, shh.
Get out!
Don't talk on the stairs. Talk outside. And, so yeah, it was like a 2-hour meet, at least a 2-hour meeting.
Yeah, 2-hour meeting
from that point to the stairwell. So it's like well after 10 o'clock at night on a weekday. So now the meeting's over, and meanwhile, while everyone's saying goodbye, Greg grabs Al, and so Gary has this thing that he always likes to break bread with the people that he works with.
Yes, yes.
So Greg knows this and wants to impress Gary by getting reservations at a diner.
At the nearest diner.
So if anyone knows Jersey diners, you don't need reservations.
Especially
for a diner.
not at 11, 12 o'clock at night.
So Greg grabs Al and says, all right, so you got to go to the diner and call the diner and just tell them that we're coming. You got how many? 11 people coming.
Yeah, yeah.
So we need a table for 11. Have it ready. And Al looks at him like, are you fucking retarded? But Al just yes. All right, just to shut him up. All right, I'll call the diner.
He looked at him like, don't be stupid, man. It's a diner.
Little did we know that right after he said that, he disappeared.
Right.
He took off. So he disappears. He takes off in his van. He's driving frantically
Another
to the diner.
Right? Greg driving his giant van that fits 8 people.
Oh my God. Did that horrible paint job that he did himself.
And we don't find out why until everybody starts going to the diner. He's rushing over to the diner to make sure the table's ready.
Right.
And he's got his little sign reserved that he puts on the middle of the table.
Just to impress Gary.
Yes, right.
Oh, so sad. So sad.
And the character Gary, of course, is aware of all the antics that this guy. Yeah. So he
wasn't born yesterday.
Right. So during all the chit chat at the diner and stuff like that, he says to Al and Vinny, you don't have to work with this guy that much anymore.
you guys are more than capable enough to do it on your own.
Yes. And he says, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. And then the cheesy Godfather music plays not the exact song because the show didn't want to pay for the rights to
like
the
us,
real
they
song.
want to pay for the rights for the podcast.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
Same
exactly.
situation.
Same thing. It was a funny ending scene.
So then, and that was later on, a few meetings later.
Oh yeah, later in the series, right?
We played the joke. Remember, we played the joke on Greg.
The jokes began.
We picked the diner, knowing that Greg would take off the same way, booking a table, and then we went to a whole different diner, and it cut scenes to him sitting by himself with his reserve sign, waiting, and looking at his watch, waiting, looking out the window.
And the waitress is just watching Greg, and she's thinking, what the hell is going on here?
And he's just drinking water.
Oh, that's funny.
So that'll do it for us here at the Greatest TV Show podcast.
And don't forget the email, fans, gtvspodcast@gmail.com. Send us your comments and your guesses to the trivia questions that we put in all the episodes. So go back and listen to all the other episodes and send us your guesses.
And don't forget to send us your donations via email. But I'm just kidding. Don't send us donations via email.
And now a word from our sponsors. Today's episode of the Greatest TV Show podcast was brought to you by the Greatest TV Show podcast. listen in as Anthony and Michael reminisce about being on the greatest TV show. Will you stop that?
I'm sorry. Stop what?